Hi, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Teaching Academia. I am Leigh Hall, and today I wanted to share with you something that I have done with my class this semester. And I just wanted to show you the document and sort of talk through it a little bit. And I will link to this document in the show notes so you can have access to it. So we're only about 4 or 5 weeks into the semester here, and I really view this document as something that is going to be ongoing and developing. So chances are that if you were to come in and take a look at it, say in December or January when the semester is over, it's going to have some more things on it. But this will give you a good idea. So one of the things, this is called bonus passes, okay? And one of the things that I realized this semester, right, I'm teaching online. I, don't get to see my students face to face. I don't get to really, interact with them in the same ways that I would in a face to face or a hybrid class. And I've realized that, sometimes obviously life just happens, right? Like you meant to do the work and something got in the way and it's, it happens. You missed the deadline and oops, now you can't get any points. And so I thought, it might be kind of nice to sort of make up some what I call bonus passes that students can use, to sort of get themselves out of difficult situations. And what I like about this is that, first of all, I don't have to referee excuses, right? I don't have to say, well, what happened to you is legitimate, I'm going to extend the deadline, and what happened to you is not legitimate, and I'm not going to extend a deadline or give you a break, right? I just give this to everybody, and I don't need to know why you're asking for an extension or using these passes I'm going to show you in a minute. All right, so let's take a look at these. So first of all, I just have, did you miss a deadline? And this is really from did you just have a bad week? It happens, okay? So all you have to do is, submit the work at any point, right? So if there is a deadline on September 1st and it's October 1st and you want to turn something in, you can turn it in. You can get full credit for it. I'll let that happen, okay? So break the lock because it allows you to break the lock on a deadline. Now, you do have to tell me that the work is available because the deadline's passed, and especially because it's an online course, I have places where people, put things or link to things, and if the deadline's passed, I'm not going to go look for it, right? So you do have to tell me that. And then you have to say that you're using this pass. And you don't have to tell me why you're using the pass. You just have to say, hey, I'm using this pass. And then I thought, you know what, I give it to you one more time. Really what you're going to see here is these are 3 opportunities. You can do it again, but you only get 50% of the original XP. XP means points in my class. So, all right. And then the next one is this get out of tech thing. Now, possibly really, did I need to add this? Maybe not, because I really could have done, break the lock, could have sufficed, but I threw it in because somebody was telling me that they were having some difficulty, something wasn't working, that should have been working, and okay, whatever. So I said, you know what, we're going to make it get out of tech pass. So if you have a technical difficulty and it results in you not being able to meet a deadline, you get an additional 24 hours. So this is a little bit different than break the lock, because with break the lock, you can just turn in your work at any point in the semester, regardless of when the deadline was, and either get full credit or half credit, depending on which of those passes you use. Get out of tech means, I had this technical problem. So if everything's due, let's say noon on Monday, then you have until noon on Tuesday to get it in, okay? And you don't need to tell me why, okay? You don't need to tell me what your technical difficulty was. Just say, hey, I've submitted my work and I'm going to use get out of tech pass, and then I check off that you've used it and we're done. The other thing, and this is different, what I do is most weeks in the class, I do something called a weekly challenge, and students have a couple of things that they can pick from. But as I've started looking at work, I thought, students may have their own ideas for a challenge that might be really a lot more relevant to them than what I'm coming up with. So for this one, if they want to create their own challenge, they can just bypass my ideas and they can do their own. So it has to obviously relate to the class in some way. It can be something that can be done in a week. It can be extended and done over multiple weeks. And they get 50,000 points because the class is gamified, so they get these huge, crazy amounts of points. So a weekly challenge is, for me, always worth a minimum of 50,000. But if you propose one, I would obviously make it worth the bare minimum, but if it's something more complicated, something that's going to take multiple weeks to do, then obviously I'm going to adjust it over the course, based on what makes sense. And then, of course, message me your idea to get it approved, or you don't get any points, right? Don't go out and do a challenge. And then, in November, come walking in and go, hey, I did this. I want all these points, because that's not how that's going to work. All right. So, and that's a one-time thing where students can create their own challenge. All right, so that is bonus passes and how I'm thinking about them. This document is always a work in progress, but I will link to it in the show notes so you have access to it. Feel free to use these ideas, modify them, do what works for you. I'd love to hear about some ideas that you have as well. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I will see you next week.